Fire signs, hey, hey. Let's do the damn thing. You're the last on my list, and there's just a lot going on. Pisces full moon tomorrow. We are in the thick of it. Everyone is going through something. It is just like quite a season of just quite a week, not a season. A life. Quite a week of like purging a lot and holding a lot. And I'm going to tell you all the same beginning things that I told the other signs because it's so important. Think of the moon in its fullness as your emotional body. You are full right now. You've got a lot going on internally. It is not a week for making decisions. I mean, you just have a lot to think about and a lot to sit with and a lot to process and a lot of situations emerging and inviting themselves into your lives to just like beat down the door and cause you to just ask so many questions about what's going on and to feel very confused. And like last week you felt this way, and guess what? Suddenly this week you feel this way, and you just don't know what to do with all of this new information and this energy. And it's like, it's overwhelming. It's a lot. I mean, I've been in bed a lot the past couple days, just admittedly, because it's the only way that I can handle it. I'm holding way too much. It's definitely a time for revisiting some themes that have been present in our lives the last 6 months. So look at what was happening in your life around like February, March, and what types of changes that you were trying to make around that time, or what type of intentions you were setting or goals you were setting for yourself, and really look for some through lines to come through in what's going on right now, because what's coming back in are situations that are revisiting to say like, hey, how about those boundaries? How about this thing that you've been giving all your energy and attention to? Are you sure about that? You sure? How about here's a completely new way of looking at it? That's what's happening more than anything, is everyone is just getting like really washed over with like a lot of different like new perspectives and new information and new ways of looking at situations that you've been holding on to for a very long time that you haven't known what to do with. Issues of self too, that's a big one. It's not just other people. Like that's been happening a lot with this full moon. Is like there's a lot of like relationship, partner, friendship type shit going down, but it's also the self. You've got a lot changing in here. I mean, with the year that we've had, I'd be surprised if you weren't completely just like pulling the pieces off of yourself one by one to figure out what's underneath. We should all be doing that, really. And if you haven't yet, this full moon's gonna like push you right into it. So just beware of that. But it's a good thing. It's a very, very, very good thing. We need your authentic self. We need it. We all need it. It's a great energy. So this is a full moon spread. We're going to talk about what's ready to be released by you, how you can do that, and what you're making space for. And once again, fourth time's the charm. The card that comes up first for what wants to be released is a card that feels very difficult to interpret, but this is all channeling on my part, so the guides up top are like, just start talking and we'll take care of the rest. Okay, we'll see where this goes. I'm getting an image in my head of someone building a fire and the fire going out. So this is the new abilities card. And so when it's in this position of what do I need to release, it's telling me that you are not quite ready, fire signs, to put into motion something that you have been working on or something that you've been moving toward. Like there is, you know, I mentioned a minute ago, like there's a lot of new information and new perspectives pouring in right now. And I think whatever is happening has to do with your ability to move forward in some area of your life with this new endeavor, or perhaps it's a new relationship or new something. Anything that's you've been trying to create, anything that maybe you feel like you've been trying to put in motion. I'm getting the phrase toppled over in my head, like you just can't seem to get going with what you've been trying to get going over and over, because it's requiring a piece of you that isn't fully formed yet, but you haven't been aware of that. You've just been trying to push through. Why isn't it working? Getting super frustrated and just wandering around with your hands in the air, getting so tight about it, just being like, why can't I just move forward with this thing or make this thing happen in my life or put this into motion? And again, the reason why is like you're not ready. You haven't been able to do that yet. You have new abilities that are still being nurtured and nourished and coming into form. And as soon as those are ready to go and you're ready to like start that fire in the forest that turns into like a blazing, beautiful sense of light and warmth, you know, you will, and you'll know. but you need to like let go of it for a minute. Let go of like making this thing happen or moving forward with this, whatever it is that's happening for you. Just let go of it for a hot second. I'm not saying a year. I'm not even saying a month. It could be a week, but right now you're pushing too hard on something. You're trying to pull something out of yourself that isn't ready to be pulled out yet. So just keep that in mind as you like encounter these moments of struggle where you think, I keep beating my head against a wall. Well, just step away from that wall just for like a minute. And the best way to go about that and to do that is the original source card, another one of my very favorites, because I'm always encouraging everyone to like go within, connect, figure out what it all means for you. Will we ever know what it all means? Absolutely not. Any time that we think we know it all, we have to sit down and go, you know absolutely nothing. And that includes me, but there is such a magic to allowing ourselves to be present with the mystery of everything and to find our own meaning, right? I always tell people, like, there's a lot that I believe in that could make absolutely no sense to the Joe sitting next to me, but it holds such meaning for me, and it really enriches my life in a way that makes me feel like I wouldn't have it any other way. There's a reason that I've been able to cultivate a sense of joy at the level that I have, is because I have assigned meaning and felt things and known things deep in the core of my being that have allowed me to create a new container for life for myself. And I really like being here. And I wasn't always able to say that. And that's allowed me to realize pieces of myself and talents that I have and gifts within that I previously couldn't see or couldn't use because I was trying to go at life a completely different way, and it just wasn't working. Things were not matching and stacking up, and I didn't know that was happening. I was unconscious of it, right? So we encounter all of this frustration and all of this anxiety, and it's like, oh, just like, why can't anything just go my way? And it's like, perhaps there's a different way. Perhaps there are untapped things inside here that need your attention, and the only way to open the door to those is to connect with your consciousness and connect to the great mystery of everything and to spirit and whatever it is that you resonate with, and just find out what that space holds for you and what it can pull out of you and how deeply supportive and amazing and surprising it can be. Because that's really the way to open like 10 doors at once. I'm telling you. I mean, I'll speak from personal experience. Like, I went from like every door in my life closed to like everything's open and almost being overwhelmed at how much I could suddenly see in front of me and all the possibilities and all the choices I had every moment of the day to co-create with my life and turn it into something that I just didn't know was possible. And that's such a theme I'm feeling for fire signs right now, is like, it's time for you to believe that what has felt impossible so far is possible and is reachable and is something that you can see and touch and play with. I mean, it's all coming to you, but you need to open yourself up in a different way. And that's really what this card is all about. And that is all making room. This is quite unbelievably perfect to you acknowledging a completely new and different and elevated way of responding. Ability to respond. That's exactly what that is. And that's exactly what that process does, right? It reignites our ability to respond. It shows us that there's new ways of responding. It shows us the power in responding. There is just so much exciting magic to this spread for you. And I hope that as you listen to me and you hear my passion and my enthusiasm for you, that you feel that right here. And I keep hitting the space because that's really, I mean, that's where I kind of point to for myself, is like my center of consciousness is like right in here, right next to my heart, right, moving in tandem with it, but like as a consciousness is like super passive and always alive and always willing to help us and show us the gifts and show us the, the joy within the pain and all that good stuff. I mean, it's there to support you. It's your higher self, right? There is just a world waiting for you through tapping into that space. And it's like I said earlier, I mean, with the example of like my own life, I mean, that's because I developed a new ability to respond to life. I developed a new ability to respond to life. And that's what you're doing. That's what you're moving toward. It's amazing. I'm jumping out of my seat for you. And again, I mean, just, we have to hold space too for the fact that getting to that point is tough. So what are you doing right now in order to get to that point? You have to visit all the things that keep you from that point. And that's the hardest part. This full moon is going to kick up lots and lots and lots of shit for you that's going to feel like, how could I ever get to that space if I'm stuck in this space? You're not stuck, you're just revisiting. So that you can remind yourself how worth it is to go this route and to develop this new ability to respond with all these new gifts that are waiting to be known by you, right? So, you know, the universe will also always send us this like equal opposite thing to like where we're going and what we're trying to bring in. And there's also this moment as we like manifest a new life for ourselves that like the old timeline that we've been living in, the old way of being will like rise up and they'll both clash and it feels like, oh, like it's so much. That's what's happening right now. But the trick is just to look at that from kind of back here and go, oh, this is quite an unbelievable invitation that I get to receive. And that's amazing. You earned it. So lean into that. Take care of yourself this week. It's just, it's overwhelming, but you're going to be just fine. If this resonated with you, if you feel supported by it, head to the link in my bio. You can donate for the free readings that you've received. I thank you for doing that. Or you can book a personal reading with me, which I would love to do with you. So I'm sending you all my best. I deeply love you, and I will see you next week.